Yes, now let's get the show started. 2 attacks in as many weeks in Nigeria's Plateau State have left more than 100 people dead in a region known for intercommunal conflict and land disputes between herders and farmers. And joining us, the chairman, governing council, Federal Polytechnic Ileoluji, and former Commissioner of Information in Plateau State, Mr. Yakubu Dati. Mr. Dati, good morning.
Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
Yes.
You've been in Plateau State for a bit, so you probably have some information that we don't have about, how this whole thing is playing out. Give us some background, because the president told the governor, enough is enough. We can't continue like this. It would seem like the president was saying, look, we know that this thing can be arrested. We've also heard a former governor, Governor Jonah Jang, say that the people who are fomenting this trouble are not ghosts, they are known, and that they have a specific agenda. So help us understand what is going on and why it can't be tracked.
Thank you very much, Ayo, for the opportunity. And I'd like to say that the issue in Plateau State, Plateau is not isolated from the attacks that have been taking place across the country. But whenever such issues come to Plateau, they begin to raise the underlying inter-ethnic and inter-tribe religious underbelly. But the most important thing I want to emphasize at this point is that there's been a combination of efforts across party lines, about tribes, across the region to support the efforts of the Governor Mutfwang, towards restoring peace in the state. And that is why a lot of things are happening. Like the last speaker spoke, we have the Operation Rainbow, which is like a community-based, like civilian JTF, comparable to other places, which is also operating effectively across the neighborhoods. But what is the modus operandi of most of these attacks is that you don't see them, they just appear from nowhere and disappear. And that is why I agree that the issues on community policing should be promoted, like the IG mentioned yesterday about supporting community policing. It means they work in conjunction with the community, the vigilantes, to be able to get intelligence and information for early warning, and also mobilize the community to be able to be the first port of response to all these attacks. Of course, as has happened in Plateau, gradually the issues are moving away from, these issues are clearly criminality. They are criminals that are invading the state. But gradually, it is beginning to assume a different dimension as religious entrepreneurs take advantage of it, ethnic champions take advantage of it. So you begin to lose the focus. And that is why it's important to begin to look at who is doing this. Is it a criminal enterprise? How do we approach? How do we ensure that the justice system operates fairly? And that is why I must commend the collaboration between the federal government, because immediately the first attack took place, Malonru and Badu, the NSA was in Jos to assess the situation.
Mr. Dati, I apologize.
We are beginning to see a lot of...
It would seem like you haven't quite, addressed the question that I hoped you would, address. The president said in his statement, this has gone on for 20 years. Now that is, by all standards, unacceptable. And we have had governors after governor, one governor after the other, for the past 20 years in Plateau State. What has happened is that we have lost lives. We have lost livelihoods. We have lost, not numbers, we have lost human beings, fathers, mothers, children, who suddenly just wake up and find out that they do not have the people who they loved anymore. So the question that I'm asking is, why is it intractable? Is it ethno-religious? Is it communal? What exactly is the problem? And why is it difficult to track? You said that it is not different from what is happening in different parts of the country. But it doesn't happen in every part of the country. And in some countries that these things have happened, they have been staved off. So Why does it seem intractable that it is repetitive in Plateau State from time to time? We understand, I think it was as if the governor saying about 60 communities in Plateau State are under some kind of occupation.
Well, for a start, the lush vegetation in Plateau State attracts a lot. And don't forget also that Plateau is the home of solid minerals in Nigeria. So a lot of people are coming in, a lot of interests are coming in that has to do with land. And that is why there's been legislation in the area of ensuring that the state develops an equitable process where land is shared and enjoyed both by herders and the farmers. And also, it is also important to look at the fact that we have, apart from the attacks, there are kidnappings, there are criminal elements that are masquerading as fighting a cause. And at the end of the day, if we fall into their narrative, we will miss the point. And that is why it's important to isolate and deal with these criminal issues as criminal issues and support the security agencies who have since gone down to ensure that they get information to deal with, to nip this in the bud. And that is where early warning signals are important. Those underlying issues that have to do with tribal or religious sensitivities and fault lines are there. We cannot pretend that they are not there. But most important is what is the proactive steps the security agencies are taking.
Is it safe to say,
the fact that they need to work with the community.
Just a second. Yes. Is it safe to say that the communal clashes that you said are there are intractable? Is it impossible for the people to live together as one? We know about Ife and Modakeke in the same state. It eventually was resolved. This is 20 years gone on, sir.
Yes, I assure you, and that's why there is a need for us, for the security agencies to liaise with the community. Because the first impact, the first people that are hard hit are the immediate innocent community who sleep and wake up and find their relatives and their families being slaughtered for no reason, for no cause of them. So that is why it's important to look at the issues that are on board. And that brings in the issue of creating an opportunity for dialogue, for communication, for understanding. Because the solution still lies with understanding, dialogue, and also creating a credible justice system such that the criminals who are arrested are not only prosecuted, but seem to be prosecuted justly, so that we isolate the criminality from those people that are trying to take advantage of the underbelly that continues to threaten the peace in the state.
Well, Mr. Dati, very quick one, 30 seconds. What would be your first step?
Yeah. And that is whenever issues come with issues affecting Plateau State is looked at under the prism of religious ethnic diversity. No, the attacks that took place have already taken place earlier on in places like Wasi local government, which is predominantly Muslim, in Bashar, in Dengi, in Gagdi, these are areas that are Muslim populated. So it's good to look at things in the bigger context. There has been a pushback on these criminals from other places at Sambisa Forest, and most of them are passing through those forests and coming into the Middle Belt area to begin to continue with their criminality. So until we look at these criminals truly as who they are, instead of always masquerading whenever issues affect Plateau, there's been a different coloration to it, instead of looking at it as purely criminalities and dealing with it as such.
Okay.
How can you say it's an issue of ethnicity or religion when predominantly Muslim areas like Bashar I mentioned, Wasi, Dengi are being attacked?
Okay.
So there's a need to have a holistic approach and understand that this Hydra-headed attack can only be resolved through a force and coordinated effort that will come through the support of the federal government, the state government, and the communities as a whole.
Okay.
And at this point in time, Plateau is bleeding.
Okay.
So we are pleading with the state. We are pleading with others to come and support what is happening.
Well, that's where we have to leave it today. We really haven't scratched the surface of this at all, but that's the nature of live television. I'd just like to thank our panel. Mr. Yakubu Dati, Chairman, Governing Council of Federal Polytechnic Ile-Oluji, and former Commissioner for Information in Plateau State, Mr. Yakubu Dati, who was in our studio in Abuja. Sunrise will be back with you in just a moment. Do stay with us.
Oh, we're still talking about security.